All right, welcome back to episode 4 of Level 1 Walkthrough. I am your host, Tony. With me, as always, my good friend, my co-pilot in this episode, so I don't veer this thing down a cliff or down this path of just constant talking. My good friend.
This is Emad. I was like, oh, is it
You
my
kind of
talk?
you kind of froze on
just,
yourself.
I was like, I didn't know when you were going to be finished, but yeah, there was a long pause. But welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I know that you're right now you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2 when you talked about that on PC.
Mhm.
Can you kind of just give us your first impressions of how far you are? How are things going with the game?
Man, to be honest with you, I just want to stop this podcast and go back into the game. Like, it's amazing. Like, I'm still at the beginning of it. Like I told you before, we started recording.
Yeah.
Uh, I just finished like the winter part or just like the very beginning of it. But it's so immersive. The graphics are really nice. Um, Gameplay's amazing,
Hmm.
and it's so easy to get distracted. Like, just to give you an example, I like to open up the map, and then you know how you can mark where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go here, and then as I'm galloping along, I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of deer, so let me go get them.
Yep.
So I get a deer, and then I'm going along again, and then there's a guy who needs help. He got poisoned or something. He got bit by a snake.
Hmm.
So I had to help out that dude.
I
And
remember
then,
that. Did you choose to help him?
yeah, I helped him and I gave
Okay.
him, I think I had a bottle. I was
Okay.
debating whether to save it and suck the venom out.
Okay.
I'm like, maybe I might get poisoned. So I just gave him the bottle and I helped out that dude. Oh, so speaking of that, that reminded me.
Hmm.
So everything I'm doing, I'm playing as a good guy. And I don't know if you're kind of like if you feel the same way, but it's hard for me to be a bad guy. Like my first walkthrough in a game. Do you
Yeah.
feel
Well, you
guilty?
can.
Like there was a mission where they're like, you can kill them or you can do whatever you want with them.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not. It's weird. It's like I know it's just a video game, but like at least the first walkthrough, it's like I try to be as good as possible. Are you
Yeah.
kind of like that as well when you play these games, or you choose between like being a good guy or being a bad guy?
I kind of it depends on what type of game it is. Like Red Dead Redemption, that one when I played the first one, that one I was as John Marston, I was always the good one. Like
Mhm.
I made the decision because his character kind of veers into a person that's put in a situation where these U.S. Marshals are basically blackmailing him to do their bidding because they have his wife and his son. So it's like
Yeah.
those things are kind of fitted along with it. Now, if he was like a criminal backstory, then I'd kind of lead into that. So it does depend on the actual type of character and the type of world that they've created.
Mhm.
Um, but in this particular one, the second one, uh, I chose different paths. There's times when you try to do the good thing and something happens and there's a witness. So that's one thing you need to kind of be aware of is that
Mhm.
if even if you something happens and you take down some people and they shoot at you or they try to hold you up, if you're like looting them and somebody sees you, they're not gonna know that there was a some sort of scuffle. They're only gonna see that you're robbing them. So then you have to chase after them. So then that's where you have to make the decision of like, do I get rid of this person and create another problem, or do I let them go and let my wanted go up? Because that's gonna be a problem. Like your wanted thing is always gonna be there. Like
I think
when you
I think
when you
I think I'll just lasso them and hog time maybe.
yeah, that's a good
Just-
one.
I'm gonna try to be as good as possible, at least like the first
You'll try.
walkthrough.
You
Yeah,
have to try. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
That one particular thing that kind of that little instance that you're talking about that actually pays. There's something that's set up for you because you chose that way, chose to be able to help them.
hmm.
So those
Oh,
are
you mean
little
like
things.
later down the line, like
Yeah. Well, not too far along the line, but when you go into that main town that you're going into in
mhm.
the very beginning, that's where you'll encounter something else, and that's where you'll get. you basically depend based on what you did on that situation. There's kind of a little bit of an incentive to kind of show you
No,
that you can do these kind of things. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
yeah.
I really like the what's really going to distract me in the game is the hunting. Like I really enjoy that. It's so fun. I don't know what it is about it.
It's so much. There's so much more to this with along with that with the hunting. Even carrying the stuff onto the horse.
Yeah,
There's a lot of little things that it's just like wow. They like even when you're carving through the deer, like they have that animation where he actually pulls the skin off
yeah,
the
that's pretty
animal.
cool.
That's that's incredible, man. I mean, they made a point to do that. And the other one, they didn't do that. In the first one, he would just do the animation where he cut him up with his knife, and
Mhm.
then he'd already have the skin already out. Like this one, they made a point to peel it. Like imagine how difficult that is because the animal can fall in any position anywhere, like on
Yeah,
top of on the bottom of a mountain or like in like a hole or something. And they made a point that it still works.
right.
Pretty remarkable, man.
It's cool, man. Yeah, they have like the details are amazing. Like I think I had some blood on my shoulder and on my fist, and as I was walking past a guy, he was like,
Hmm.
"Dang, you're really bloody, Marshall or whatever his name is." And I'm like, "Dang, I guess I got a shower, so like people
Yeah,
don't notice that anymore, or I look cleaner."
yeah.
So I actually like looked that up. I'm like, "Can you shower in the camp?" But I guess you can't do that. Like you either have to go into a river
Yeah,
or
you just go into
go
the
to a
river. Yeah,
hotel
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
But
Well, you know what you should do is you should send me some screenshots of something like that. That would be really cool to be able to see like the difference on when I'm playing it on my PS4,
mhm.
how much of a difference it is on your PC.
Okay.
Because I'd imagine that you have all the settings all maxed out.
Yeah, I have a decent rig.
Hmm.
So the majority of the settings are going to be like either high or ultra, and
Hmm.
I'm playing it at 2K. So it looks really nice. So it's really
Yeah,
nice and smooth. So I'll try to take a few screenshots. I wish I
yeah,
could
that'll be
get
cool.
some video
That'll be really cool. Yeah.
so you can see that. Yeah, it is, and I can already tell it's going to be an amazing game. I'm really biased because I like the first one, so I was expecting a lot from this, and so far it's delivering. Like
I mean,
story lines,
but
characters,
that's
gameplay.
yeah. I mean, but that's Rockstar in general. I mean, they know what they're doing with their products, and they know like these games that when they make them, they know they have that thing down. So yeah, their world is so much more expansive, and there's so much stuff you can be able to do. Just like in GTA, you can get lost in just doing all these other things versus doing the mission. You can do exactly that, but now it's kind of tailored back where you actually kind of you enjoy the scenery a lot more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What kind of scared me though is I was reading online where a lot of people were having trouble launching the game. Like some people, like I guess based on how what type of PC they have
Yeah.
and the software and all that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are complaining that they couldn't open up the game and start it. So to be honest, I was kind of worried about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, like that would suck. Like like I pre-ordered this game
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be able to play it. Like that would be really frustrating. I don't know if
Yeah.
you read anything about that.
Honestly, I haven't actually heard I haven't like gone into any of like the threads for anything like that, or any game articles for anything like that as far as like people having problems. But that's kind of the influx of how many people are playing these games that it's going to create a problem. Like the amount of doesn't matter the amount of servers that they have,
Yeah.
it's gonna create a problem. I don't know if they do dedicated servers or not,
Hmm.
so I don't even know if the game has to be online all the time. I have no idea, but I would imagine the amount of people that want to play it, especially on day one on PC, because they didn't even if they did that with the original Red Dead when that came out on PC,
Hmm.
then it might have been a little bit. It would have been like I'm sure they would have learned the amount of traffic and people that are going to be on the game to compensate for the next one. So,
Yeah,
but
I hear
they're
what
still
you're
new
saying,
to it. They're
but
still
the
new to it.
real hardcore gamers, like PC gamers, are
Yeah.
upset because they're saying that this game has been out for a year. Like the game has been out for a year, and they should have done a better job making sure that the launch goes smoother.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I understand there's only so much they can do though. Like they're bound to run into some issues, like day one release, and
Yeah,
when people are going to be playing it with different ranges of different types of PCs and things like that.
yeah.
But I was so relieved when it like booted up right away and it worked, and so yeah, I was pretty happy that it worked right away, and it's an awesome game, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm
I'm
probably going
glad.
to be
So,
thinking about it throughout
how,
this podcast,
how many hours are you in at this point?
like a few hours maybe.
Okay, okay.
Not too far. Yeah, I'm really not that far into it.
Well, keep us up to date, man. So like every time we do a podcast, you can just kind of you can always just give us a little bit more of like where you're at, and of course with something like this, it's going to have a little bit of spoilers. So anyone that's playing the game or they finished it, and you don't mind kind of a little bit, maybe kind of just be maybe a little bit more vague on like stuff that's going on, but stuff like that in video games you can't sometimes you just can't help but not to give stuff away.
Yeah,
But that's kind of the difference between playing games than watching a movie, because that is your experience is only just one way, like you're watching it. Instead of playing the games, the events are always a little different, even though they're structured for you to have those experiences within the game. They happen entirely different in different areas, different situations. So it's like you're not really spoiling it because your experience of when it happens the first time to you,
right.
that's you get that real genuine feeling of like, wow, this game is so much more than what I thought.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, next podcast we do, I can give you an update where I'm at and things like that.
Well, that's if we get you. That's if we're able to get you
Oh, yeah,
unplugged
that's,
for a little bit. That's all
yes,
circumstantial. So
exactly.
we'll see next time and see if you're available. You may not even be getting out of work. I mean, you may not even go to work at all. You may even lose everything because of this game.
I would love to use a vacation day and just, I can tell it's going to suck so much time,
Yeah,
like, because there's
yeah,
so much you can do. That's one
yeah.
thing that kind of worries me though. It's like sometimes I get so involved with like side missions and things like that that I feel like the game's going to take me forever to play.
I
And
mean,
then
it's
I get to a
they're
point.
big.
That's what happened with The Witcher with me, like The Witcher 3. Like
Yeah,
I'm going to try to do every single side mission. And
that's what
and
gets
for
you,
me,
man.
it's impossible because I don't like I told you last time, I don't get to play as much as I used to.
Yeah,
And at the same time, it's like, okay, if I get past like 50, 60 hours, like I think that's enough for me. That's enough for a game, and I need to beat it so I can move on.
right.
But with Red Dead, like it's just so fun. Like I can see myself putting like a lot of hours into it.
Yeah, you really
Just taking
can
my
do that.
time and enjoying it. So I don't know
Yeah,
where I was going with that, but yeah,
you're too preoccupied. I can tell that you're looking at the monitor of the game where you paused it, and you're thinking of where you want to go next after we finish this. I already know you're already doing that, so I know.
yeah, you
I
know,
get it, man.
you
I
know
get it.
this. You didn't beat it though, did you? Did you say you?
Nah, no, I still haven't been able to get enough time to be able to play that game as much as I would like. But I've been putting in a little bit of time, but not as much as I would like. It's just that type of game is just there's so much that you want to like. I enjoy all the little things. Like I like to just stop and just let my horse just keep moving like at a slow pace and just look around. I'm always kind of very aware of what's happening because there's so many like it seems like real organic things that happen within the game, like other than like animals attacking you and stuff like that. Like there's small little things that you notice. Like there's something you can actually do when you holster your gun. I don't want to tell you how to do it, but
Mhm.
there's something there, and when you do it for the first time, you're like, I love this game. That's a simple, small little thing that they put in there, but when you learn how to do
Oh,
that,
I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't done it yet, but like, is there like does he flip the gun or something when he puts it back in his holster?
yes, he
I had
rolls
a
it
feeling
on
you
his
were gonna.
finger. He rolls it on his finger and then puts it back into the holster. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna end this podcast and I'm gonna go try that.
All right.
You,
Well, then I guess I'm going to have the whole segment to myself, which probably won't be a problem, and I'll just be talking to myself.
that's a cool detail though. Like
Yeah.
they put so much into it. I love it when developers do that. Like when they
Yeah.
put their heart and and soul into a game, and you can really see it and feel it,
Exactly,
like as you're
exactly. Yeah, that's why you don't mind when a game takes over a year for it to come out on PC, so you can really enjoy a game like that
playing. Right.
because you know what you're getting, and you've been waiting this entire time.
Oh yeah. I
That's
was
why
so
people are
tempted,
frustrated because they've been waiting.
dude. I was so tempted. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I think it was on sale on the PS4, and I really
Uh-huh.
wanted to get it, but I said no. You know, my
You have to stay. You have
PC.
to stay disciplined.
Yeah, I was very disciplined. I'm glad I did though. It was worth it. Definitely worth the wait.
That's good, man. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, but keep us updated, and send me some of those screenshots, man. I'd love to be able to have some of those photos to kind of get a real sense of what the game looks like compared to what mine is. 'Cause you can actually, obviously there'll be a huge difference, and they designed it that way so it's
Mhm.
it has that real feel of a real like photorealistic environment. So I mean, yeah,
But
that'd be
they're
great.
amazing, man. Like, it's weird, you know. Like I'm playing it, but at the same time, I like to just sit and enjoy the scenery.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think you kind of do the same, where like you appreciate where I'm coming from. You know,
Oh yeah.
like when you're
Oh
just in
yeah.
a mission, and you're just galloping across the mountain, and you see the view.
Yeah.
It's really amazing, man.
And to
It
and
really,
and to some people, it's some people like to just play the game for what they tell you to do and just do it.
yeah,
I like to actually, when the game like introduces something where you're going into like the town, I like to try to see if I can get into these buildings. I like to
yeah,
see like all the little things that you're not going to notice. I don't like to be so straightforward on my direction. I always deviate, and especially this type of game where you can just put a marker down and say, "All right, I'm going to go up this way," and your journey along that way, you have no idea what you're going to experience. But
mhm,
all those things are set up so when you do experience them, you start forgetting, and you get sidetracked. You get sidetracked into other things,
mhm.
and you're just like, it's like an hour later, and you're like, I still haven't got to where I want to go.
Right.
So that's great, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I could tell in your voice that you're really excited about what this game is gonna start actually showing you. So you definitely need to keep us posted on that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. So other than the game, how's everything going with you? How's life going with you? How's the family?
Life's good, man. So yesterday and today, let me back up a little bit. We signed up our boys to, like, for in a soccer club. So
Oh, cool.
yesterday they played their first game. So my middle son played his first game yesterday, and my oldest
Nice.
played today. And it was
Uh-huh.
just so cool watching him. Like, it was a first game. It wasn't like a professional or anything. You know, just like
Yeah.
little kids running around. But it's still cool seeing him. Like, uh, my middle son, I think he scored like 5 goals by himself.
Wow, that's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it was nice, you know, just
Now let me
really,
let me ask you this:
yeah.
Are you, now that you've seen this and you've experienced that kind of that kind of seeing your child like that, are you going to be one of those parents that's screaming at everybody else? Are you going to be yelling at the ref, the coaches?
You know what I was thinking about?
What?
I'm, you know, like I shout just to kind of encourage my
Yeah,
kid, but
yeah,
like next to me, there's these dads. It's like they get like really into it, you know,
yeah,
like drop the ball, Kyle, drop the ball. Like you drop, and then the kid, he just has like this deer in the headlights look, like he doesn't know what
yeah,
the hell is going on. And I just want to look at him like, dude, like take it easy.
yeah.
Have you
And
seen?
then he takes it out on you. He's like, "Don't tell me how to talk to my son."
Have you seen the episode where Randy Marsh, like, I think he's taking his kid to like I don't remember if it was a baseball game or whatever, but he starts fighting with the other dads, and then he gets arrested.
What's this from?
South Park.
No, no, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to watch that so then we can revisit this joke.
Okay.
But anyways, like he would get into fights with other dads and stuff,
Yeah.
and then he kept saying something like, "I thought this was America. I thought this," like he'd be handcuffed and going to jail.
I thought I
And I
could do
just
it.
pictured that,
I
like,
thought I could just say whatever I want.
yeah, that's what I was picturing, like when I was at the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you have a little bit of a moment for yourself and see something like that? You're like, wow, now that they're getting older, your experiences are seeing them grow up in your eyes and being playing a sport that they like. did it kind of get you a little emotional? Like, did you get a little
So,
tear? Did you hide your tear? Tell me. You can be honest with it's
no,
just
you
you
know,
and I talking.
it
There's
was,
nobody else listening.
yeah, no one's listening anyway. I think
No,
we got like 4 or 5 views,
that's
and
okay. Hey, that's okay.
2 of them were for me, probably. More. But no, I felt a little sentimental. But, like
Okay.
I didn't like tear up or anything.
Yeah.
One more funny story about that.
Uh huh.
My oldest son, he scored a goal. It was like a nice goal where it went between the goalie's legs, and after that, like the goal, like he started tearing up, and I felt so bad for him, the
Oh
goalie.
man. I mean, that's you kind of feel bad for him, but it's just like,
I was
hey,
so
you know,
happy with my son. I felt guilty.
that's your position.
Yeah,
Eh,
I was like, yeah, I was cheering him on, and then I was looking at the goalie, and like he felt like so bad, like he was
Yeah.
tearing up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I felt a little guilty, but at the same time, I was so proud of my son.
Right.
Like,
You're right.
it was an awkward moment. And then there was another kid. This is just 2 games, mind you.
Yeah.
There's another kid who got hit in the face with a ball, and he had a nosebleed.
Uh huh.
I'm like, dang, this is getting crazy. Getting crazy up in here.
Jeez.
Dad's yelling. Yeah, so
These
some of the
kids are
dads
no
need to take
joke.
it easy though. It's like they just have to, keep in mind it's like little kids just trying to have fun. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, a lot of the times it's them projecting their thing onto the kids and
Yes.
being that type of parent. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, being a non-parent myself, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah. Maybe one
you
day
know,
you get to experience it.
what, dude? I would love to have an experience like that, man. That sounds amazing. Like afterwards, did you guys go like get ice cream? Did you guys have pizza? Like celebrate stuff like that? Because that's a pretty big thing, you know, as far as them like just playing, but also like playing really well. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, you want to just encourage that they have fun. It's not really about being competitive. It's about them being pure and just enjoying something that they like.
Exactly. Yeah. And I wanted to take him out, but I think they already ate or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But I was really proud of. I'm proud of both of them, but I'm proud of my middle son because I think at one part of the game he like bumped into a kid and the kid fell, but he went back to check on him. You know,
Oh, that's good.
I was like, that's good. Like this is what it's about.
Yeah.
Like having fun, but like not taking this too seriously. Just enjoying it, and like I was really proud of it. It was a small thing,
Hmm.
but I was really proud of him for that.
That's great,
Like
man. That's
good
great.
sportsmanship. I
See
found.
stuff like
But
that, man. I mean, stuff like that is so important for you to see your like your kids also respect others,
yes,
and you see the stuff that you've kind of embodied for them, and it's you see those small little things like they did the right thing because
yeah,
they're not trying to be malicious. They're just
right,
playing, and somebody just fell. You know, they're not trying to hurt somebody. That's great, man. That's really, I mean, that's a detriment to between you and your wife, man. That's great that
thanks, man.
you
I
have stuff
appreciate
like
that.
that because a lot of these other kids, man, I'm sure you've already seen them. Like, there's some really like these kids are monsters, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough being a parent though. Like it's another thing I learned that like you shouldn't judge other parents. Like maybe they're doing all that they can, but their kids are just out of control.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's hard, man. I mean,
It's
because
tough.
you're seeing it totally different as far as you know before having kids and now having kids. You can see the difference
I'm
of
getting
like
old, dude.
where the kids are.
I'm getting old, man. I'm getting
I know.
I have gray hair and 3 kids.
Hey, dude, you know what? Just embrace that part of you because to be perfectly honest, man, it's not a big deal.
You know,
Like don't let that focus on you. Don't let that be your thing that you think about when you look in the mirror. And don't think about that dad bod that you said that you're trying to get rid of.
yep,
Don't worry about that, man. As long as you're happy, you keep yourself active in so
yeah.
many ways. You're gonna have to get off playing Red Dead, but that's okay. You can do that.
What?
You're gonna have to do that, man.
I
I
don't know
know.
if I can do that, man. That's you're asking too much of me. Yeah,
You have to do it in moderation. I'll just say that much.
you're talking crazy right now. I don't know. I don't know. You know what though? Like, even though I joke about like looking old and feeling old,
Yeah.
like I don't really feel like I'm my age. I feel like
No.
I'm still like in my late 20s,
Yeah.
or early 30s. And I think
Well,
it's
that's
maybe because I'm like working out every once in a while, and I think that helps out a lot.
But it's really just you and your wife keeping yourselves like you guys have always been, I'm sure that both of you are very similar in the way that how you guys approach certain things. And I've seen people that are my age with like two kids, and they look like they're 10 years older. Like I've seen that, and I'm just like, wow, you're exactly the same age as me. The
Yeah.
only difference is that you have kids, and
Wow.
it was a huge distinction between the ages.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, and it's really what you're doing, man. It's really what you like to do when you're not working, because work is always there.
Yeah.
It's all the things that are going to make you happy when you leave work to be a part of like your kids' lives. Having that relationship with your wife, and it's things like that. It's just makes you young, because the kids are going to force you to do that because you have to be active with them.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
I can't wait till you have kids, man. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Like it has
I
its
I,
ups and
I would,
downs.
man.
You know, like,
I'm going to get them to play the games that I like. And that's one of the things that I've always kept really close with, especially like whenever I've encountered like friends of mine that have kids, I can immediately like talk to them on a very real level, because a lot of their adult interactions are like the adults are lame. But when you talk to them and like what game they're playing or whatever they're talking about, like they're playing Pokemon Go, those little things, and it kind of breaks that like barrier, and the kids are like, wow, there's somebody that does the same things I do. Like,
yeah.
how do you know about this? You know what I mean? You should be the lame old man that doesn't know anything, can't work a cell phone or whatever in their eyes. So it's like you have that experience, and those things keep you plugged in because those are the things that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
else?
great, man.
Oh, go ahead. Were
No,
you
well,
transitioning to something else?
I was gonna talk about myself, but
Oh
you
no,
know what?
it's
Let's keep talking about that, about how things are going for with your family, because that's I love that,
it's your
man.
turn,
That's
man. I've been hogging the mic. So what's
for
going
the
on with
first
you?
time. It only took 4 episodes.
Yeah, we're in the fifth episode, and then I turned the
um,
tables on you.
yeah, man. For myself, things have been going well. Like work is still there. Um, my update on the game that I'm actually designing has been coming along. There's a lot of the combat that I've been creating has been having a little bit of issues, but I've been able to mold some of the things that I want. Um, in the next, I don't know, maybe like in the next month or so, I may be able to have access to a motion caption, a small little studio that I might be able to have some real animation to the liking of what I want.
Nice.
So those are little things, because there's one that I use, and people that have ever, either they're doing it independently, or if they've done any kind of animation with video games. There's a website called Mixamo, and it's Mixamo,
Hmm.
and it's a free website that you can go to, or free stuff that you can download, where it gives you the animations already, like these motion caption motions for your character. Like they already have them preset for you, so you can, if you need a crouching animation, they have that stuff for you.
Nice.
Now, it's not exactly to your liking, of course, because there's subtle things that I want to do, but at least it gives you a template of the things that you can do, and then you can add more things to it. So that's coming along, man. It's a process. I'm gearing myself into having a real alpha build that's uh, not just a kind of prototype kind of level that I've already designed, where I'm testing things out. Like I'll have potentially an alpha build sometime in the next, I would say like maybe 2.5, maybe 3 months, where I'll have something substantial where I can be able to show a little, but it's obviously not going to be finished. It's not going to be polished. But
Are
then
you
that's where
doing
the fun
everything
starts
yourself?
happening.
Are you like
Yeah, yeah,
from the ground up?
yeah,
Doing everything, programming and animation,
yeah, yeah.
voice work.
I haven't gotten to that point yet. I do want to have like some sort of I want to have like some sort of feedback with that. So I want to find people that are locally that can do like voice acting and stuff like that, because some of them I do want them to be a little bit more kind of based on the time. I want it to be a little bit more authentic. So I want to have that real kind of feeling of these characters being alive or like being real.
Mm.
Uh, so there's things that there's concept ideas of what I want to do, um, but for myself, no. I think I would want to do something like that, but I don't know, man. I'm not. I like to like be in the background and make all the stuff, and then have people that are much more talented than I am, like concept artists, to be able to take my vision that I'm wanting to do, and just roll with it. And I've had a couple people that have done that have done a little bit of work for me, and it's really remarkable, man. When you start talking to somebody and you give them feedback and they can start sketching out what you're talking about, I was just like, man, I wish I was capable to do that, because I have the idea in my head,
Mm-hmm.
but it's when I go from my head to my hand and to the paper and try to actually draw out and sketch out what I'm doing,
Yeah.
I lose the translation gets lost. So I've tried a lot to be able to do that, but that's not my strong suit.
So I want to tell you something. I
Yes.
want to be in your game. I don't care how.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I want to be involved somehow, whether
Okay.
I'm like an NPC character or if I have a line or whatever.
Okay.
I want to be in your game.
Well, I'll do you one better.
But
I will put you in as a like a consultant. I can have you give me real feedback of what I'm doing. Like I'll at some point I will, come down and see you. So when I'm at that point, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, and I want that first impressions.
I'm
I
gonna do
want
it. It's crap.
yes, it's crap.
It's messed
Why did
up.
you waste your time?
Like you put so many hours into it, and you show it to me. I'm like, what?
Dude, it's not even hours. It's like
Turn this.
it's coming on to years. It's
Oh, wow.
almost gonna be coming on to a year. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it not even okay. So just give you a little bit of a concept of what I've learned. You can have all the ideas that you want, but I slowly started to realize that the ideas that I want are going to change over time. So what I did is that I started with a structured story on what I want,
Mhm.
and then from there I started building the actual foundation of the scripting, of the programming, of the rules itself,
Mhm.
based on what I wanted from the story. So that really, as long as my story itself will change based on what I'm kind of doing, the baseline of it will not change. Like the structure of what I want is still there.
Mhm.
Then I just build the foundation on top of that. So it's a process, man. There's so many things that I would have loved to be able to have time with, but I don't have the commitment to. I have to do this on my own, and I've had a couple people that have helped me with little things,
Mhm.
but overall time and learning is all on me. So it's like
Okay.
I'm putting the pressure on myself, but hey, you gotta stride on what you're doing, because that's the most important thing. If you have a goal on what you want, there's so many obstacles that you put in front of you to stop you. Like
Yeah.
I'm my own worst enemy. I will be the one to do that. I don't need other people to just be like, "Oh, that you can't do that. It's gonna be too hard." I don't need that, because I already have 20 other obstacles that are in front of me that are my own,
Mhm.
for me to be able to get through what I need to. So it's a long process, man. But it's so rewarding when the one thing that you're trying to do, it finally works, and you just have that sudden relief of just all this time of small little things that I was trying to do, and I broke the game for so many times, so many hours, and I questioned everything I was doing. It's like, this is a total waste of time. I need to do this, I need to do that, but I came back to it, and I finally figured it out. And once I figured it out, that's why I keep doing it.
Nice.
It's all those little moments.
I don't know if you're already doing this or not, but do you have like goals set up? Like, okay,
Yes.
between now and
Yes.
December,
Yes.
I want to get this done, or
Yes.
this part of the gameplay, or this story, or this cutscene, or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can hold yourself accountable.
Yes. And then I yell at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Tell myself that I'm a piece of shit.
Good job.
Yes,
I can see you doing
yes,
that.
yes. I do have that. It's there's an overall goal where I wanna place myself, but I've had small little goals in between. Like I put it on a monthly basis where I want to be concept wise, design wise, those things that I kind of put into. But it's also based on like how much time because I'm learning while I'm doing it. So it's not
Mm.
my free knowledge of like, oh, I have all this time and I can do it. I can do this on my off time. No, I'm also learning exactly what I'm doing because when I make the mistake, I have to figure out why, how did I make that mistake, and how can I be able to do things differently while learning this whole new process. So it's not like, oh, I've had 10 years of experience and now I'm doing it on my own. No, 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 no. I'm doing this all kind of just freehand, like basically.
You know what's going to be cool though? When
What's up?
you actually finish the game, then you look back, or if you listen to this again,
Mm-hmm.
like you're gonna feel like such a sense of accomplishment.
Dude, man,
And that's,
I can't
that's
wait
how
for
you
that.
think about
You know what? Every time I start thinking about it, when I start thinking about that, I think of that movie Grandma's Boy. You remember that?
it. I remember watching it. I don't remember the details, but
Oh, come on, man, that's a great movie. So like the guys, the main the main actor, the main character, he works at a video studio, a video game studio, and he's one of the testers of this game that's coming out, of this launching game that's coming out. And he has a little side project that he's been doing that he didn't tell anybody, that he's been designing his own game. And he gets a little bit of help, a little bit of feedback from his family, from his grandmother.
mhm.
But at the very end, they have kind of like a little celebration of the game that finally comes out, and it's a small little thing, but it's like that sense of accomplishment that he did, and he was doing it all on his own. Like he didn't tell anybody about it because he was so embarrassed, and he was so like focused on what he was doing. Like nope, like there's even a scene where he's sketching out parts of the character, and one of his coworker or one of his friends comes in from work and like says something to him, and he flips the book upside down so no one sees it. So it's important to him because it's something that he wants to do. So it's
Yeah,
like I always think of stuff like that.
you'll get there, man. You
Thanks,
can
man.
do it.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Everything's aligned itself to where I have enough time to be able to do it, and I dedicate the time that I can each day or each other day that I can be able to do it, and I keep going along with what I'm doing. Every day creates a new challenge, even if it's a small little thing.
You know what helps though? I'm sure is that like you're really passionate about this, and I think
Yeah.
that's what's going to keep you going, and hopefully finish it.
Yo, man, it's funny you say that because every time I start talking about this, I have to stop myself and just say, okay, just tailor it back. When people ask you, like, especially when people ask you, like, what's going on with it,
Yeah.
so there's a few amount of people that I know, people that I work with, my friends that are here that know what I'm doing, and I have to like stop myself because I get so excited because my idea gets bigger and bigger and bigger,
Mhm.
and they're just like, how are you gonna do this? So I have to tailor it all down to like, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm at, because the story itself of what I want is way I envision it is going to be really incredible. Like I think it's going to be something unique
Mhm.
but very familiar, and I'm I'm excited. I'm
Well,
excited for
you know
people
what?
to see what I've envisioned in an idea that's been over 10 years of a simple idea that has changed.
Well, you know what?
What's that?
I can't wait to play it, man. Um,
Thanks, man.
it's going to be
Thanks.
awesome, dude.
You'll be the first one to be able to play it before anybody else, before it's even finished and stuff like that. You'll see the concept idea of what I'm talking about, and then I'll even have at that point I'll have concept artists to show like what visually I want, because then I can be able to potentially get backing for that,
Mhm.
so I can be able to have a little bit more financing along with it, and have a couple other people that can help me build the actual world, because that's going to be that's the exciting part. You build the levels.
Mhm.
You already have the enemy AIs. You already have the the NPCs. All of these things that are all structured. All these things that are in there. You start to just import them into this level that you designed and these worlds that you designed. So that's the fun part. I haven't gotten to that part yet. All of this right now is all the structure, all the building blocks of this foundation
Mhm.
and building upon it.
Did you mention something about? Look, are you going to put this on Kickstarter? Like, Like when you get close to
I don't
finishing it, or
see that I haven't explored, and not because I don't I know a little bit of how Kickstarter starts or how it works. I don't honestly I haven't really put too much thought into it, so I'm more of kind of plugging myself into the Seattle video game, meetups, people that are there, that people that are creating their own indie developers as well. So I've been plugging myself into that slowly.
Mhm.
But there's so many little things like conventions that I can be able to get myself into, because once I start having that in there, that's where I can actually get real positive or negative feedback. And if people want to invest into, like, if people that are, any publisher or any other studio that sees the promise of this thing can be even bigger,
Mhm.
but I still want to have control. That's the thing, is that this control is not an idea that I want to sell.
Yeah.
This is something I really want to create, the actual envisioning world that I want to be able to create. Like I take even though, like, No Man's Sky, when it came out, wasn't what they talked about.
Hmm.
I remember when they were talking about the game when it first started, I think there was only 4 guys that were working on that game, and they started just building that game themselves, and then Sony came and backed them financially, and then they can do a bigger concept of what they wanted with the game, even though what they were doing was remarkable on what they wanted to design.
Hmm.
I think their ambition got too big, that they weren't able to finish what they originally started to talk about when the game was about to be released. Because I remember when that game
They
was getting
overpromised
buzz,
too.
man.
They
Yeah,
overpromised, man. That
yeah.
was another problem.
I mean, there was plenty of problems with that game, and you know what? It's unfortunate, because that game itself, the just the idea of what they were talking about was so big. Unfortunately, when the game came out, it didn't live up to what they talked about.
Yeah.
But they've slowly rolled out other bigger things for the game that are kind of getting it close to what they talked about originally.
No, that's
And
cool.
at that point, I've already lost interest. So it's unfortunate. So that's why I want to keep my expectations based on what I'm doing, and have it just move to where it needs to go, and not be embellishing the story even bigger than I need to.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think that's so funny, man. That's so funny that we're actually just talking about that, because I feel I'm a little, to be perfectly honest,
Yeah.
I'm a little I get a little defensive, because I want, I feel like when you start talking about it, like, people want to, like, get you updated, and it creates that kind of another sense of, like, anxiety.
Mm.
So I don't know, man. I just feel, I feel comfortable, talking about this, because people that listen to this, don't really know who we are, and I think things like this, they'll be able to, like, get a little bit more of an insight of who we are, and potentially get us to, like, more views. People, like, actually, like, want to know more about us, because it's really about our lives and the stuff that we love, because it's all centered around these games that these people spend thousands and thousands of hours into, that we enjoy, like
Yeah.
Rockstar. That studio, man, there's at least at least I would say anywhere from like 1,000 people that work on that game all over the world, or maybe it's in one of their main studios, like the one that's in San Diego.
Mm.
Who knows? But there's a bunch of people, man. A bunch of people making that game.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah,
They're a big
yeah.
company.
So, speaking of that, so we have our first our first actual segment that we're going to start actually launching every episode. It's called Back in 2009. So, since we're in 2019,
Hmm.
I thought it'd be fun to, like, look back 10 years on what games were coming out the 10 years ago, on the day that we're actually recording this. So I found a couple games,
Yeah, let's hear it.
and so in the week of November, up till November 9th,
Hmm.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out from
Oh, wow.
Activision. Seems kind of appropriate, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was 10 years ago?
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. That one that we're talking about, that basically springboarded that multiplayer into the third one that we talked about.
Mhm.
That's pretty remarkable, man. That's only 10 years ago that came out.
Dang.
And it's still going strong, man. I mean, like it for what it is. May not see that they're kind of going back to their original stuff, but hey, man, if it works, it works.
You know what? To be fair, I know we kind of bashed Call of Duty last time we talked about it, but I watched some reviews,
Yeah,
and the campaign it looks good. You know,
yeah,
like I'm kind of interested in playing it as much as I bashed it last
yeah.
time, and I still have Call of Duty fatigue, but I've always enjoyed their campaigns.
Hmm.
And they mentioned like there's a few new things like close quarter combat, things like that. Like um, it. So I just wanted to add on like what I was saying last time.
You just didn't want to pile on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I feel a little guilty, like I bashed it a lot.
No, man. I
But
mean, that's one of the things about it is that we're not trying to be we're just trying to we're just ourselves.
yeah,
We have our own things that we like and the things that we may have seen are like, oh man, things that could have been. I'm on board with all these games that come out. The ones that you were playing, I'm on board with.
mm,
It's just when you see these little things that are constantly being addressed in other games, especially when there's iterations of it, that's when I start to see like this can't be an oversight. This is designed specifically this way.
yeah,
That's where I'm just like, why is it the same stuff being launched out every year? That's where I get fatigued with.
right.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
what we're talking about. We're just talking about it's essentially you're bringing the games all back from what you started from that foundation that got you successful, and it's a repeat. That's the danger of it because it's still very similar.
mhm.
That was the only difference.
All right.
Yeah.
What other games do we have
Okay.
from?
So, Dance Dance Revolution Disney Grooves for the Wii came out by Konami.
Those?
Kind of different. Kind of different from
Yeah,
what Konami's doing now, but I mean they've kept most of their elements of like RPG games and Japanese based games. So Dance Dance Revolution is just a fun thing along with Disney. So I thought that was kind of interesting
mhm.
that they have like it's called Disney Grooves.
Next.
Never got I never got into Dance Dance Revolution, but I remember when it came out how much
It's
of an
okay.
impact that game had.
It was fun, from what I remember. But yeah, I want to hear what other games came up.
You like
We
move
move
on.
on. Yeah, we could. I'm ready for the next
So,
one.
of course, NBA 2K10
Hmm.
every year. There's iterations to it,
Yeah.
and that came out for the Wii.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I've been playing NBA 2K since I remember from like 2007.
Oh wow.
So I've played their basketball games for quite some time. I haven't stopped. I actually I stopped um, playing the games after a couple years ago. But when I pick up the game, it's cool, man, because you can actually with your right thumbstick, you can actually control the dribble, and it's really cool that they do stuff like that. Or actually, no, that's the shooting. Yeah, you can control the dribble, where you can do between the legs, crossovers, stuff like that, and then you could be able to shoot if you want to with the thumb. I thought that was really cool. You push down, you push, and you go down, you go up, kind of like the same motions of shooting the basketball. So
I never really got into like I'm really picky when it comes to sports games
mhm.
and like basketball for some reason. As much as I enjoy playing it in real life, but
Yep,
like I never really got into it. Like I don't know, maybe I just didn't play the right. I don't know if there's how many different types of basketball games there
yeah,
are, but like I'd rather play like FIFA, for example, like
yeah. I mean,
like FIFA
FIFA on
or
PC on the PSP was my go to.
oh nice,
When the PSP came out and they had FIFA, I don't even remember which one it was.
yeah,
I've never played soccer games before, but when I played that on the PSP, man, I was hooked. It was so much fun.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, and then the very last one, Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron came out on the PSP.
okay,
Now you got to remember, man, when that PSP came out, that thing was when that when that portable game came out, I remember when they were talking about the second one, that the games are going to be just like the PS2 versions, like video games. Like you can play all these games from the console onto this handheld. I remember the promise of what it was going to be. You know, it
Mhm.
changed. It went through a digital, the PS, what is it, PSP Go,
PS
that was
Vita.
all digital.
Are you talking about after the PSP?
Yeah, so yeah, there was a PSP, and then the second one, and then wasn't there? There was a digital one that was like a PSP Go that was like it slid up, and it was a little bit smaller of a compact one, and it didn't have an actual disk drive.
Hmm.
Do you remember that?
I don't know about that, but I still have my Vita. I haven't played it in a long time, but
Okay,
I thought that
so I
came
mean,
after the
yeah,
PSP. You could be right. I don't know.
yeah.
I remember
I
one.
see. I never picked up the Vita at that point because there was no real reason for me to get it
Mhm.
because I've been hearing that once that came out, there was a lot of studios that weren't really backing it, and
Yeah,
a lot of developers weren't going to be making games for it. So it's like, why am I going to spend upwards of what $200 some odd for
right.
something that's not going to have a real long um, shell life?
That was its downfall. Like it had a lot of potential,
Yeah,
but I feel like Sony kind of abandoned it. You know?
I wish they wouldn't have, man. But you know
Yeah.
what, Nintendo, that's their domain,
Yep.
and look where it's at now, man.
Tearing it up.
You got you got the hybrid of a DS and the actual Wii. You got them all connected now, so it's like the Switch is like, how can you compete with that?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Sony now can't do that because Nintendo dominates that.
Mhm.
And now that you can do both, and now they're coming out with another version that's like just a handheld version. Hey man, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, no, you're right. I can see why they backed out. It just sucked. Like so many people invested into it, and they're thinking it's going to be the next big thing. But Nintendo dominates to this
Yeah,
day when it comes
yeah.
to handheld gaming games. So,
Dude, wouldn't that be incredible being able to play like a Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear on the PS whatever 2 or the PS Vita?
hmm
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Heck yeah, man.
Like playing something like that, or Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, whatever. Like if you can get that portability in that hardware and it can play, I mean, man, you can take over that hardcore gamers that want that versus people that want to play these games that don't have to have high fidelity with graphics, characters. It doesn't have to be on a mature level. It can be they can be very cartoonish.
hmm
So I mean, it's totally different. But they could have capitalized on it, but it didn't.
So I googled Metal Gear Solid on the
Yes,
Vita, and it looks like they had a collection. I don't even.
they do. There is Metal Gear Acid that came out that was a card based game, which that game was actually pretty fun. My cousin had it,
Mhm.
and I technically borrowed it or stole it, however you want to see it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't give it back to him,
Yeah.
and he kind of forgot about it. So it's really more of his fault because he forgot about it.
No, this is an actual
Uh,
an HD collection. Let's see.
yes, Snake Eater was the one that was the third one, and then they had another one. Was it called Spec Ops or something like that?
I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, it's not working for some reason.
That was that one by far was the best one.
Which one?
They finally came out with a Metal Gear that can play on there. But what I'm talking about is the original, like having that quality of the original Metal Gear,
Mhm.
and then even like Metal Gear Solid 2. The quality of that one on that system
Yeah.
on the PS2. Imagine that being on a handheld. I mean,
Yeah,
that'd
it had
be
a lot of
incredible.
potential, man.
Yeah,
It's a
it
shame.
did. It had a lot of potential. I mean, the games like Resistance came out on that,
hmm
and that was a just mainly it's a first person shooter, but that came out when the PS3 came out, and that was one of their launch titles when they were talking about that game. They were talking about how much how how much the games can actually the processing power of what these games can do now.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, oh, it's not going to have loading screens, loading problems, things like that, loading times. The games still do, but it's like they talked about that because it was a huge jump from the PS2 to the PS3.
hmm
Yeah.
Um.
So yeah, man, I stuff like that. It's kind of fun because it's like that's 10 years ago, and you see these little things. So I think like every time we do a segment we'll kind of look back and see like what happened during that time, and it's kind of like a cool little thing that we can be able to explore because there's some games that we've never heard of, and
Mhm.
there's some other ones that I never played.
Right.
So it's like you can kind of see it's just like wow, after 10 years, I mean, it seems like it hasn't been that long, especially when we're talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that was coming out
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Right.
So
No, I think it's a
yeah,
good idea. We should do that next time as well.
okay,
But
okay.
to wrap up, like before we finish, I wanted to get your thoughts on Death Stranding, since the reviews have been coming out. Like I
Okay,
don't know if you read
so
anything or saw any reviews. I
I've
want to get your
okay,
take on
so since the last time we talked about this, I've actually gone through and seen a lot of gameplay. Uh, I've been looking at like reviews and stuff like that. It seems to be kind of the things that we talked about is people's concerns as well.
it. Yeah,
So I've seen
walking
a lot
simulator,
of like
walking.
yes, yes. So my initial thoughts now that I've seen what the game is doing,
Yeah.
I'm still kind of on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if that game is something I want to play because it doesn't sound fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's trekking through like the thing that was interesting is that you have to like you were telling me before there's like weight displacement that you have to put down on your thing. Your character can sway, he can fall over and stuff like
Yeah.
that. um those things actually do come into play, but you also have to, not only that, wherever you're going, you kind of have to plan out what kind of equipment you need in order to get to where you need to go. Like if you're climbing something, you can get a lot, you can get a ladder, and then you can only get a couple of them, or else you're going to be too heavy. So you have to like, there's a lot of like micromanaging that you have to do. But the journey to get there, that's where I'm kind of not sure if that's going to be fun. Now, the game has made it a point to do that purposely for you to be walking and carrying all this stuff. I don't know if that's going to be enough for me to be compelled enough to continue playing this game when I know that I'm a courier going from one point to another that's reuniting the United States or the America
Mm-hmm.
together. I'm real vague on like what's happening with the game. I've made it purposely vague because I want to know kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to kind of be surprised, but I'm still very unsure because even though I've seen more of the game, I'm still kind of unsure. What do you think?
You know what I'm thinking? There, what I think is there are some games that I think would be cool movies, and there are some cool movies that I think would be really. Let me say that again. There'd be movies that'd be really
Cool
cool
games.
games. I think I like the world. Like it looks really interesting. You
Yeah.
know, for the characters from what I've seen, like from the trailers and some reviews, just the gameplay just looks kind of like what you said. Like I'm just worried it's going to be a little boring. Like you're going from point A to point B, and you're not really doing that much, and they don't. It doesn't look like it's action packed. Like say what you will about Metal Gear Solid, or at least Metal Gear
Metal Gear
Solid
Solid
5.
5.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, like when you got to the camp, that was exciting. You can do whatever the heck you wanted.
Yeah.
You can go in stealth, this action, you can blow up stuff. But this game, it seems like it wants you to kind of like slow it down, but like slow it down a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just you, and it looked like you can craft things, like you can make a ladder to climb up a hill and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine and all, but I don't know, just it's not grabbing my attention. Like I want to play it because the story looks interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd probably be the main reason why I play it, but the gameplay, like, it just looks boring, man. Like, I love Hideo Kojima. Like, I love Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy, and his games have, like, weird uh, story plots,
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, would I be able to stand to get through the gameplay? Maybe I'm being a little harsh on this, but just the gameplay itself, it's not that exciting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm still thinking about Red Dead Redemption.
I
I
know.
can get
I
that
know.
right. Like I was hoping to play it a little bit before I go to sleep tonight, but I'm getting a little sleepy. But like gameplay, yeah, story is cool, but gameplay is important as well. And if you don't have the gameplay element in this, I don't. For me, I don't know. It's kind of like a trade off, or how can I put it? Like, am I willing to play through the boring gameplay to see possibly a good story? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that?
I see. That's while you're talking about that. I just thought of this. Is it the game was made purposely for you to be isolated in a way?
Yeah.
Do you think the game would have worked better if you had a companion or it was a co-op type of game
Oh
where
man, you
you
brought
have
up
a
the
jump in?
you brought up the word of the day, co-op.
Yes.
I think they
Yes.
should put co-op in everything. Yeah, I think I mentioned this before. I
Yeah.
love co-op games. Yes,
Yeah.
maybe if you had a buddy, like a human companion, split
Hmm.
screen. Maybe if it wasn't online, if you can
Yeah.
do split screen, that would have made it a lot better, I think, or a little bit more exciting, where you have a partner and they can help you out. But
Or like you both have to do the work and you can't.
yeah, but what's
The
weird?
problem with that is that people that play the game are going to try to break the rules and they're going to separate, and like the characters will do other things and try to break the game and try to do things that they normally couldn't be able to do.
Yeah,
But they do actually. Well, the reason why I mentioned that is because when I was watching some of the actual reviews, they do have stuff like that where if you leave an item, like if you leave a ladder,
mhm,
like over, kind of like over like a river, and you're kind of like you use that as a kind of like a bridge. If somebody else in the world in that same playing their game, if they see that and they use it, you get notified that somebody else that's playing the game saw your ladder. So and they used it.
that reminds me
And
of
people that
Dark Souls or like Blood.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
when you
yeah,
leave
like the
messages, and if somebody
yes,
puts a
yes,
like, then you get rewarded somehow. I like that.
yes,
Like, that's creative, but is it enough? Like, that's cool. Like, one player can
yeah,
leave a ladder for somebody else. I like the
yeah,
idea, but at the same time, like, what if you're playing the game late, and by the time you started, like, everything's already done for you. There's a ladder, roads. I know you can make roads and stuff. I don't know if like they
oh,
thought
I didn't
about
know
that.
that. I don't know. I'm sure in the very beginning of it, I'm sure they did have other ideas of what they wanted to do before it became just one character and you trekking through. I'm sure there was iterations of it where they concepted it, but it didn't translate well because they wanted it to be primarily you by yourself, which can work. The only difference is I think you being okay. I don't think we have a problem with the idea that you're isolated alone.
Mhm.
I think we have a problem with your mission structures on what you're doing
Yeah.
because you're carrying all these things continuously. Like the game. What if your character was completely unaware of this world, and he's out in the wilderness, like walking through all these things that are happening, and he's trying to resupply himself by these camps or these big structures that he has no idea about. The game doesn't tell you any of this, and it's vague, and you experience it because you're isolated by yourself purposely.
See, that sounds more interesting to me.
Yeah,
Like,
see, when you take away the your job description, the game is really interesting.
mhm.
But it's just the idea of what you're doing when you're going from one point to another, doing these structuring things where you're carrying all these things. I think that's where we're kind of we don't both of us are looking at it like we're on the fence on it because of that.
You know what would be funny? Like, what if we're saying all this, and then you play the game, and it like turns out to be really amazing? Like, there's some kind
Well,
of like secret,
well,
or maybe they
why
put it
don't
in
why don't
reviews.
how about this? How about we both make a point to at least I don't know if the game is rentable because we're on the fence and we can use my rating structure the way that we talked about this like
0 to 10. You like?
the
I
the
remember you
the
like the
view the
numbering
view
system.
yes, of course, the few amount of people that actually have listened to us may know what we're talking about, but people that don't know, we're actually I was talking about a a gaming review structure that doesn't base itself on numbers from 0 to 10. I base it on your experience, on if it's likely a buy, if it's a save your money, or a potentially rent the game, or if I were to do the review, I would have the game on YouTube where you can be able to watch the actual video through my actual website. So you can actually, or not my website, but on my channel.
Mm.
So then you can still see and experience all the things. And I don't have any running commentary where it's just the game itself. So you have options versus doing the 0 to 10. So I think if we did this, how about we try to see if it's available like through Redbox and maybe just rent it for a couple days and maybe try to get at least maybe 2 to 3 hours into the game, and then we can start back and see, like, check back on both of us and see what we experience, and if we feel like there's something more to want to actually buy the game. How about something like that?
That's a good idea. Or you can play it and then upload the gameplay, and then I can review that.
Oh, okay.
Either.
So you're saying that it's only one game that you're only thinking of, and you don't have the ability to think of another one right now.
Yes.
Is that what you're getting?
No,
Okay.
I mean, like, I guess we can rent it, but I think it's a good idea. We can try that.
Yeah.
Give it a chance, I guess.
How about this? How about at some point I'll rent the game, and then we could touch back on this, and then I can kind of give you my experience.
That sounds good.
Because if we're both on the same page, I think the way that I actually see, the way that we both kind of see things, I think we would kind of both look at it and be like, I like what they're doing, but it's not enough for me to want to continue playing the game, because it seems like it's going to be either a 30 or 40 plus game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think that's another idea too.
Cool, man. Well, I like to just leave it at that as far as, what we're talking about. I know that we kind of talked a little bit more about our lives, which is good, man. That's a part of what it is that we're doing, and we're people that just have regular type of jobs, and there's other things that just kind of bring us both together, where we both like really enjoy playing new games or just talking about it and stuff like that. So it was cool. I like this one because we really like kind of touched about our personal lives and talked about like stuff that's going on with ourselves.
You got personal.
Yes, personal, and it's only just between the two of us. Nobody else.
Yeah, no one else is listening. Exactly.
Do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think us keep talking about that? Do you think that might actually get on people's nerves? And it's just like, what's going on, man? Like, there's people listening. There's comments. There's people that are watching this or they're listening to it. Like, stop saying that.
I hope they think it's funny. Like it would be cool if we had more than 2 people listening. But
yeah.
Hopefully they won't be bothered by it.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere, man.
It's a running joke.
This is a running project, a concept of what we want to do.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing about it.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Well, I'll let you get back to your game, because I know that you're already turning your head towards that monitor. So we'll leave it at that. And I'd just like to thank everybody for listening for another episode of the Level 1 walkthrough. I know that we've been promising to talk about a specific game, to do the things we want to do. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go back to the first episode and just listen to what we're talking about. The audio is very hard to listen to. I understand that. We both understand that. But we're making strides to make things better. So the audio is going to be a little cleaner now. You kind of notice the difference. So
and
if you do, go back and listen to that.
Also, I was just going to say, like, to whoever is listening, if there's a game that they want us to talk about, or a subject in the gaming world that they're interested in, we would love to hear from that.
Yeah. Or you can even help us with some theme music, because we don't have theme music at all. And everyone that I've listened to with podcasts, they have at least some sort of theme music, or they have some sort of intro, like some kind of like, kind of uppity kind of music, or whatever. They have something, and it's just for us, we don't have that. But obviously, it's just because it's just you and I. So if there are people that are listening that can, make something for us, that'd be great. I mean, that just shows, hey, you like what we're talking about, and if you have time, if you don't, it's no problem. We'll make do for what we got.
You know what? We can use the intro when we play Street Fighter 2 and I kick your butt in that. We can use that as the intro. I had to throw in this last
Why
chat.
why did you? We're gonna leave it on such a good
No,
on a good
I'll
note
take it back.
at that point.
I'll take it back.
No, don't try to backpedal like you were doing with Call of Duty. No. That's not gonna fly. I'm gonna have to put my foot down on this one.
Oh, no.
So, have you done any kind of research now that you're putting your foot in your mouth? Have you done any kind of research and found any arcades that are in the area? Let me ask you that.
No, to be honest with you.
Okay. So why don't you just think about how you answered that, and then you can challenge me again, because don't worry about me. You're the one that's gonna have your family there. Don't even worry about that. Your family's going to be there, and your world is going to crash in front of your eyes. Your world is going to come down on you.
You know what I was thinking?
That's only you to blame.
When we do it, I know you mentioned that you wanted you like the arcade controller better. I like the regular controller better. So when we do this, we have to figure out a way to get you an arcade controller and then me a regular controller.
Okay. Well, that's not a problem. There's universal arcade sticks. There's universal arcade sticks that we can be able to get. So if we get on the Xbox or we get on the PlayStation, I can get that. If you want to go back and play the original Mortal Kombat, I have the arcade stick that looks like the Mortal Kombat arcade. I have that. I bought it a long time ago, and I have it for the 360. I even have the game. I'm looking at it right now, and it's from Midway. It's a treasure of their Midway games, and Mortal Kombat is in there. So
let's stick to
you want to throw down on that?
No, let's stick to Street Fighter.
Okay, don't worry. I can get the universal stick, arcade stick, and you can use controller. That's no problem.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about the arcade itself, you're gonna go down.
All right, man. Well, if you're able to visit, or when I visit you, we're just gonna go to the local arcade.
Oh no! Don't worry. I'll come down there.
Okay.
Because I am just going to.
Hold on.
I'm going to be foaming at the mouth, watching you, having everyone console you because you're so devastated. I'm gonna eat it up.
And yeah, after I beat you, we can use that as an intro. Thanks for listening, everyone.
For everybody. All right. Well, once again, thank you everybody for listening, being patient with us. It's not the best right now, but we're making strides to do better. And we'll be back next week with a whole new bag of issues, and we'll take it from there. So I've been myself, I guess. I don't even know. I guess I'm myself. And you're
myself.
You're yourself? Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, this is the Level 1 walkthrough. Thank you everybody for listening. Had a blast going down memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
And having my co-pilot along with me is always a joy.
Yeah, likewise, man. And I really do appreciate anyone who is listening. We talked about this before, and this is a passion for us. We love video games. We love talking about anything related to video games. So just a big thank you to whoever is listening to us.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Yes, please send that positivity our way.
Yes.
If you do have reviews, if you do send anything, let us know.
Nice comments.
I mean, yeah, just hey, if it's nice, if it's not, it's cool. I mean, we'll take it, and we'll just I'll cry on the inside, but you're not going to see it. It's okay.
You'll rock back and forth, crying.
Exactly. I can do that as an adult. That's what we do.
Yeah. We do that sometimes as adults.
That's right. All right. Well, we'll see everybody on the next one, and it's been a pleasure as always. Do you have anything else you want to say before I cut you off?
Cut me off, dude. I want to play Red Dead.
Let's just be done with it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.